Hare Krishna, a very warm welcome to all of you who have decided to join us on this very cold evening here in Durban. We'd like to thank you for taking this time to join us on this, the first night of a week long of Gita Week presentations as we build up to the climatic appearance day of His the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, which will take place on the 12th of August. So between now and then, on every evening, we will be making various presentations in terms of discourses from the Bhagavad Gita in itself. And tonight we have a very special speaker. But before I introduce the speaker, I would just like to share some news in respect of the program itself. Um, Every night we will have a speaker from 7:30 p.m. and the program will conclude at 8:30. We'd like for you, as you're listening into the presentation this evening, to listen intently for two reasons. We'd ideally like for you to be able to pose any questions that you may have to the speaker based on the presentation. And secondly, we have a very exciting competition that's taking place. So if you listen intently, and you'll be able to answer a question which will be posed to you at the end of the presentation, and you'll have the opportunity to participate and win yourself a copy of course, the most apt gift during this time is a copy of the Bhagavad Gita as it is, as translated by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of organizing committee and the devotees here in Durban. We'd like to extend a very warm welcome to you and thank you for joining us. And at this stage, I will also like to take the opportunity to introduce our very special speaker for this evening, and that's His Grace Smita Krishna Prabhu. For those of you in South Africa, I'm sure he's a very familiar figure and really needs no introduction, but as this is a broadcast not only on Zoom, but also on Sri Sri Radharatna Temple's social media platforms, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce him, particularly to those who are not familiar with him. And of course, in the material world, he has several accolades and he's highly qualified academically. He is an academic in higher education. He has a PhD and he's known in the secular world as Dr. S. Ramson, Dr. Shakti Ramson. He lectures and consults in the postgraduate space with honors, masters, and PhD students at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. He also lectures at a tertiary institution, that is Varsity College. He is a researcher and has been involved in research projects like the Nelson Mandela Center for Community Education Policy Development, the UNO, African Women in Leadership Project, the European Union Early Childhood with the University of Pretoria, and several other institutions and in fields of research within the education sphere itself. In respect of his role within ISKCON, his services included being the former chairperson of the Food for Life arm of our food relief program within ISKCON, an international communication liaison for the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, cultural programs director, youth outreach, interfaith collaboration. In so many areas, Smita Krishna Prabhu is always there to do the needful because he's so highly qualified and capable of doing whatever is required of him in service as required. He currently oversees the Durban South Zone, ISKCON satellite centers, the Namahatas. He is involved in education and training within ISKCON itself, within the South African arm of the Bhaktivedanta College of Education and Culture, and teaches yoga texts like the Bhagavad Gita. So it is most appropriate we have someone of his caliber to literally start off this week-long program of Gita Week. And it gives us all an opportunity, which we encourage you all to join us every evening on this platform or on our Facebook page, to listen to various verses from the Bhagavad Gita, and also to be able to apply and absorb and reflect, and hope that it enhances our growth in our spiritual life and becomes more self-reflective and helps us grow as devotees as well. And ultimately, we look forward to having you join us here at our Janmashtami program, which will go on next week, Wednesday night as well. So without further ado, I would like to hand you over to His Grace Smita Krishna Prabhu, who will make a presentation. And like I've said earlier, please listen in If there's any questions that you wish to ask and have posed to the presenter, please drop us a message into the chat box, which is at the bottom of your screen. And also listen out for a surprise question at the end of his presentation, which could stand you a chance of winning a copy of the Bhagavad Gita. Also, another competition that we are running for this week-long event is for those of you who participate and attend on every night. Well, there's a special giveaway in terms of a lucky draw that will take place next Wednesday evening. So please make sure that you share your screen name in terms of your name as a participant. We'd love to give persons, give someone a gift next week. But if we can't identify you in terms of your identity, and we're watching our screens and we're looking out for names, particularly those that are on with us on a nightly basis, please make sure that you change your name on the profile itself so that we know who you are instead of we seeing the actual phone that you're using. We'd love to know who you are personally and to be able to perhaps give you a gift at the end of this week. So Smita, Krishna Prabhu, welcome and thank you so much for agreeing to present this evening, and the platform is now yours. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Champaglata Mataji, for introducing me as well as inviting me to participate in this program. And I'm very fortunate to get the opportunity to do some service like this. Although you've introduced me in such detail, and I always say the academic qualifications are not qualifications for spiritual life. And looking at the lineup of the speakers that are coming this week, they are such advanced devotees of the Supreme Lord. And I feel like, when you go to a big concert or a match, then in the beginning they have the curtain raiser. They give the novice a chance in the beginning to do the curtain raising. So I'm doing the curtain raising today for all of these wonderful souls that will be coming through in the program. So let us begin by chanting. I will just chant because I can't use the cartels, it distorts the sound. So I'll just chant the song, and if you can follow, then follow. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana, Yamunatira Vanachari, Yamunatira Vanachari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadha, Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Go Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Radhanata Radha Radhanata Radhe Jaya Radha Radhanata Radha Radhanata Radhe Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Ki Jai Shri Shri Nitai Gaur Hari Ki Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Gaur Premanande Hari 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 Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Thank you very much for participating. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpadurubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vande Guru Isha Bhaktan Isham Isha Avatarakam Tat Prakasham Tat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Samyakam Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Godadaya Pushpalvato Chitra Sandho Tamo Nudham We'll read from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 9, chapter 4, titled Transcendental Knowledge. So please repeat after me in your locales. You may even switch your mic on if you want, just to repeat the pranam mantras, and then you can mute it after that. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who is known as Vasudev. Text 9, chapter 4, text 9. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo viti tatvata tyakta deham puna janma naiti mam iti so Arjuna. I'll say it one more time. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo viti tatvata tyakta deham puna janma naiti mam iti so Arjuna. Translation. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. The purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The Lord's descent from His transcendental abode is already explained in the 6th verse. One who can understand the truth of the appearance of the personality of Godhead is already liberated from material bondage, and therefore he returns to the kingdom of God immediately after quitting his present material body. Such liberation of the living entity from material bondage is not at all easy. Sorry, I have the verse here. The impersonalists and the yogis attain liberation only after much trouble and many, many births. Even then, the liberation they achieve, merging into the impersonal Brahma Jyoti of the Lord, is only partial, and there is the risk of returning to this material world. But the devotee, simply by understanding the transcendental nature of the body and the activities of the Lord, attains the abode of the Lord after ending this body, and does not run the risk of returning to this material world. In the Brahma Samhita 533, it is stated that the Lord has many, many forms and incarnations. Advaitam, Achutam, Anadhir, Anantarupam. Although there are many transcendental forms of the Lord, they are still one and the same. They are still the one and the same supreme personality of Godhead. One has to understand this fact with conviction, although it is incomprehensible to mundane scholars and empiric philosophers. As stated in the Vedas, in the Purusha Buddhini Upanishad, Eko Devo Nitya Lila No Rakto Bhakta Vyapi Hridaya Antar Atma. The one supreme personality of Godhead is eternally engaged in many, many transcendental forms in relationship with his unalloyed devotees. This Vedic version is confirmed in this verse of the Gita personally by the Lord. He who accepts this truth on the strength of the authority of the Vedas and of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and who does not waste time in philosophical speculations, attains the highest perfectional stage of liberation. Simply by accepting this truth on faith, one can, without a doubt, attain liberation. The Vedic version, Tattvam Asi, is actually applied in this case. Anyone who understands Lord Krishna to be the Supreme, or who says unto the Lord, "You are the same Supreme Brahman, the personality of Godhead," is certainly liberated instantly, and consequently his entrance into the transcendental association of the Lord is guaranteed. In other words, such a faithful devotee of the Lord attains perfection, and this is confirmed by the following Vedic assertion. Tam eva vidivati mrityum eti nanya panta vidyate yanaya. One can attain the perfect stage of liberation from birth and death simply by knowing the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and there is no other way to achieve this perfection. Svetasvatara Upanishad 3:8. There is no alternative means. That there is no alternative means that anyone who does not understand Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead is surely in the mode of ignorance, and consequently, he will not attain salvation. So to speak, by licking the outer surface of the bottle of honey, or interpreting the Bhagavad Gita according to mundane scholarship. Such empiric philosophers may assume very important roles in the material world, but they are not necessarily eligible for liberation. Such puffed up mundane scholars have to wait for the causeless mercy of the devotee of the Lord. One should therefore cultivate Krishna consciousness with faith and knowledge, and in this way attain perfection. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshata. So, we are going to be celebrating Krishna Janmastami in a week's time. And yesterday was Lord Balaram's appearance day, a wonderful festival, although we missed being at the temple. And as I've been hearing and seeing so many devotees say, we missed the kirtan, we missed the association, the excitement of being together in sadhu sangha. That certainly is something that we're all hankering for. Actually, it'll make us appreciate devotees much more when we get together, because this separation and missing devotees makes us realize how valuable devotee association is, and how enlivening, inspiring this sadhu sangha is. So for a short while, I guess everything's Krishna's plan. So even though we are in this state of a crisis, but yet we've managed now to use such the online space and reach so many people. So wherever you are watching this, welcome, and thank you very much for giving us your kind participation and association, despite it being in cyberspace. So Lord Balaram appears before Lord Krishna, and he's 1 year older, being the 7th child that appeared or disappeared from the womb of Devaki, transferred to the womb of Rohini, who was taking shelter in the palace of Nanda Maharaj. So Lord Balaram appears to prepare the way for Krishna. And yesterday was Balaram Purnima, the full moon. So when you count the full moon, and we understand the word as Krishna Janmastami. Janma is birth, but that Janma is not the birth that you and I experience in this world. That is the transcendental appearance of the Supreme Lord by His own sweet will. So Janma, Janmastami, Astami. So Janma ends with the A, Astami starts with the A, and in Sanskrit it is joined and it becomes Janmastami. So Janmastami, Astami refers to 8. So the eighth day of the waning moon from the Purnima. So if you count the 8 days, so next week, 8 days. Sometimes we are not astrologers, but we won't get into the detail, but sometimes there's a slight crossing of the tithi. So there's slightly maybe a day difference. So if you count it out next week, Monday will be the 7th day. 8th day would have normally been on the Tuesday, but here we have Janmashtami on the Wednesday. So astrologers can give us more, details of that. But we have to understand that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, as He Himself declares in this verse, that one who knows, one who understands the transcendental nature of my appearance. He says appearance of my Janma and my activities, His activities. If you understand it, then we will get access. Then we'll able to become liberated. Then only will we be able to enter into the abode of the Supreme Lord. Now, in the purport, Prabhupada speaks about those who attempt to understand it as mundane scholars and empiric philosophers. If one is not in the line of bhakti, if one is not practicing bhakti yoga in the bona fide parampara, one will not have access, one will not understand. So one's understanding of Krishna becomes limited. So empiric philosophers, speculators, scientists, etc., who try to understand. There are those who attempt to understand Krishna's position, but are not willing to follow the instructions of Krishna, not willing to subvert themselves to the desires of Krishna, not willing to join a bona fide sampradaya, disciplic succession to understand Krishna. I have an excerpt of Prabhupada speaking just now, and I hope that plays, and you have the internet capacity, but I'll just do a short extract of it, and we'll hear what Prabhupada says about how we should understand and why it is only that the devotees can explain Krishna to you. So, for the evidence of Krishna's position is given by the great sages themselves. There are so many great sages. Asida, Devala, Narada, Ramanujacharya, Nimbakacharya, even Shankaracharya himself, who presented an impersonal philosophy. He acknowledged that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Bhaje Govindam, Bhaje Govindam. Mudha Mate, he was chastising his followers that you're fools if you do not accept Krishna as the Supreme Lord. So Arjuna tells that to Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Param Brahma, Param Dham, Pavitram, Idam Uttam. That you are the primeval, the Supreme Lord. And Arjuna says, I am not saying it. The great sages are saying it. So it gives the evidence. Another great sage, Parasara Muni, the father of Vyasadeva, he establishes this fact, this irrevocable fact that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Aishvarya, Samagrasya, Yashashashriya, Jnana, Vairagyaschaiva, Sanam Bhaga Itingana. He explains that the Lord has these 6 opulences. Sanam Bhaga, the opulences. Therefore, we have the word Bhagavan, the residence of all opulence. Bhagavan. So, Parasara Muni, he establishes the 6 opulences. Aishvarya, Samagrasya, Viryasya. Aishvarya, all the wealth. Samagrasya, Viryasya, the strength. Aishvarya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yashasha, Shriya, beauty, fame. Jnana, all the knowledge. Vairagyas, the renunciation. So Krishna has all of these in full because these are the attractive qualities in this world. We are attracted to people who have some wealth, have some renunciation even, knowledge. We're attracted to all of these qualities, but nobody in this world can claim that they can have that in full. Everybody has it in minute capacities and we lose it also. But Krishna has all of these qualities and more in full and unending, limitless. So Krishna is established. Now for those who have some kind of, we want to talk about scientific evidence. How can we prove? Because we also get this kind of challenge. There are people who say, oh, Krishna, it's mythology. How can we even understand that? Well, it has been scientifically proven also for those who may be skeptical. The birth date of Krishna is established as appearing in 3228 BCE on the 18th of July. And because we're following a lunar calendar, we're now in August. But if you go back to that in the cycles of the lunar calendar, 18th of July, 3228 BCE. How is that even possible? Because you see, we know that technology brings with it a lot of ills. But if technology is employed in the service of Krishna, then we can use it. Just like, Prabhupada would say, people asked him about, you're using motor vehicles, how you say you want to live a simple life. How do you fly around in a plane? Prabhupada would say, this microphone, it's technology, but because we are using it in Krishna's service, it has become Krishnaized. We have Krishnaized it. We have made it. It's no more material. It's now spiritual because it's Krishna's energy. So similarly, the science that we have can be used to prove Krishna rather than disprove. Therefore, Prabhupada set up Bhaktivedanta Institute, staffed by all of his scientific devotees, to prove the presence of Krishna. And one person, he's an astronomer. His name is Panchwag, but he's not in our line, but a devotee nonetheless. And he uses a science which is becoming more popular called archaeoastronomy. We have astronomy and you have archaeology. And archaeology is used to understand the history of our past civilizations. And astronomy is used to understand the history of our universe. And when you put those two sciences together, they become archaeoastronomy. So using very advanced computer IT programs, these archaeoastronomers have managed to map out the sky and the positions of the planets. And just as like you see now, the comets were around and they were able to predict that this comet will come in 15 years, or it came 80 years ago and now it's making its appearance again, and it'll be in the sky for the next few months and then it'll disappear and it'll come again. Just as they're able to do that, the archaeoastronomers are able to map out the sky and work retrospectively as well, not only futuristically. And by plotting all of the events that they find in Mahabharata about the constellations, you'll always read about the constellations, about the eclipses, the conjunction of the planets. So by plotting all that information into a sophisticated computer program, they were able to track back to the time of appearance, even predict the time of the Mahabharata, the disappearance of Krishna, the passing of Bhishma Dev, all of this. So we need not be sentimental. We need to be convinced that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is not mythology for those who are unsure. The devotees are convinced. And therefore, we need to take devotees who have this conviction, need to speak this with conviction to everybody else. And tell them Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So let's try to understand what Prabhupada is saying. I do hope this works. Okay.
So, I shall speak on Bhagavad Gita as it is.
Oops.
The purpose of saying Bhagavad Gita as it is explained that there are many editions of Bhagavad Gita. They are interpreted in their own way, giving up the spirit of Bhagavad Gita. So this particular name, as it is, significant. Perhaps there is no other edition of Bhagavad Gita where it is written as it is. In this connection, Professor Dimmock of Chicago University has written a foreword, and he very much appreciates the theme. He says, Swami Bhaktivedanta comments upon the Gita from this point of view, and that is legitimate. She accepts that Bhagavad Gita as it is legitimate presentation of the great book of knowledge. He also says, more than that, in this translation, the Western reader has the unique opportunity of seeing how a Krishna devotee interprets his own text. So, about Krishna, the devotees actually can interpret about Krishna book. Others, if they are not devotee, how they can interpret on Krishna? Just like a member of a family can say very nicely about the head of the family, how outsiders can say about the family. That is not possible. Similarly, about Krishna, a Krishna devotee can speak nicely, not others. Others have no right to speak about Krishna. And Krishna also admits Arjuna as the right student of Bhagavad Gita. In the beginning, Krishna says that I have selected you as my student because you are my friend and you are my devotee.
So, Srila Prabhupada's emphatic that the Supreme Personality of Godhead can only be understood through the disciplic succession. And he gives a beautiful analogy that just as a member of the family can speak about the head of a family, nobody from the outside can do it. Similarly, only those who are in the family of the Supreme Lord can explain. Therefore, when you look at this verse, one who understands the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving this body, take birth again in the material world. One who knows the transcendental nature doesn't refer to those who try to speculatively or empirically try to understand the transcendental nature of Krishna. It refers to those who allow themselves to be guided by the pure devotees of the Lord who understand the transcendental nature of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada gave us Krishna before we became established in ISKCON. We knew something. We knew Krishna, yes, one of the gods, or yes, he's the Lord. But how does he fit in? How does he become the Lord? What makes him the Supreme Lord? What is his transcendental nature? We didn't know. The activities in the spiritual world, where Krishna enjoys himself in so many different rasas and relations, we didn't know. How Krishna comes in his most merciful incarnation as the Supreme Lord Chaitanya, we didn't know. So one who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance doesn't refer to speculation, but it refers to one who is willing to tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. One who's willing to inquire submissively with a mood of service to the pure devotees of the Lord. That is the secret for understanding the transcendental nature of the Lord. And by subjecting ourselves to the process of devotional service, or sadhana bhakti, devotional service in practice, sincerely trying to do that, then we become purified and become eligible to understand what these great souls are telling us. The great souls, how are they able to actually even speak about Krishna? It's because their hearts are so pure that they are seeing the pastimes of Krishna. The pastimes of the Lord in the spiritual world are being telescoped into their hearts. We are using some rudimentary device, a laptop, an internet connection for you to see me in some other parts of the world, even other parts of the country. So we can understand that it's possible. But on the pure spiritual platform, this mundane technology is not needed. The Supreme Lord's pastimes are telescoped because the heart is a fertile and pure field to receive that information. And therefore, the pure devotees of the Lord can see. Prabhupada himself, once when one of his disciples were very proudly presenting Srila Prabhupada to a visitor, that my Guru Maharaj, he wrote all of these texts. And Prabhupada stopped him and said, no, I did not write. Krishna is simply dictating and I'm simply writing. So the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord can be understood. And therefore Prabhupada has given us the scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Instruction, Ishopanishad, all to establish the Supreme Lord. And the once we understand Krishna's position, then it becomes easy to understand the Leela. And the Leela of Krishna's appearance, his transcendental, his Janma in this world, is done so that it's important for us as conditioned souls to enter into those descriptions by reading, hearing, watching. Because what those pastimes do, they purify the heart of the living entity and make him eligible to enter further. So it's very important for us. These pastimes of the Lord are none different from the Supreme Lord. So Garga Muni was sent by Vasudev. Garga Muni was the Kul Guru, the priest of the Yadu dynasty. He was sent by Vasudev to Nanda Maharaj's palace to perform the Namakarana, the name-giving ceremony for the transcendental boys. And when he took Krishna, as you can see, he stated that this boy, Shukla Raktas Tatapita, Idanim Krishnatam Gata, that this boy has come before. He's come in different colors, white, red, yellow. Shukla Raktas Tatapita, these colors. But Idanim Krishnatam Gata. But now he's come in this blackish form, the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Garga Muni establishes this. And in Garga Samhita, there's very beautiful, detailed explanations given about the Supreme Lord. Srila Prabhupada summarized the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam into Krishna book. Prabhupada, before he even completed, he did that. Because Prabhupada realized, being pragmatic, that he was old, and he may not be able to give the Bhagavatam 10th canto in time to the world, which is the lotus face of the Supreme Lord and the pastimes. So he summarized that into Krishna book, Krishna Leela, the appearance and the pastimes, activities of Krishna in Krishna book. So Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Puran, the commentary, the natural commentary by Vyasadeva, the author himself, on Bhagavad Puran, presents Shri Krishna as the Supreme Lord. And the other great sages and there are other Puranas, there's Vishnu Puran, Padma Puran, Upanishads, the Vedas, they establish Krishna as the Supreme Lord. So this beautiful boy appears on this Janmastami, and he performs such beautiful pastimes to attract the conditioned soul back to him. And the more we can be absorbed in it, the better it is. And that conditioning is very, very visible to us, because as Champaklata, introduced me as being part of an academic context, that academic context to me is dry. Gyan, it's dry. And just before coming on here today, right up to 5 o'clock, I was on line with my students. And you can feel that there's no real inspiration in that. But this class tonight, reading about Krishna and so on, although, being excited to get it together for the evening, still there's such great joy in trying to present something about Krishna. So I kind of get an indication about my time, I think. So we'll round it off by just mentioning a few things about Krishna's pastimes. And we know the story about how the earth has been troubled by the demoniac forces, creating such a burden for Mother Bhumi that she assumes the form of a cow and goes to Lord Brahma, crying for help to relieve this planet of this burden. And Lord Brahma, together with the demigods, sit on the shores of Svetadvip, and they pray to Lord Vishnu to assist. Now, Garga Samhita gives such wonderful detail. We understand generally from Krishna book that Lord Vishnu, he informs Lord Brahma that yes, I shall appear and all of you take birth in my pastimes together as my associates and assistants in my pastimes, and we will rid this earth of the burden that Mother Bhumi is lamenting, that she cannot bear. But Garga Samhita explains more detail how Lord Vishnu himself says, let us all go to Goloka Vrindavan. And he takes all the demigods together, Lord Brahma, apparently on a transcendental boat that goes through the universe, right penetrating through where the waters are coming through the universe, where Lord Vamanadev poked his foot, through that hole, with the transcendental boat, all the way to Goloka Vrindavan. And where they meet Krishna, a whole series of beautiful events takes place. Krishna, even when Brahma arrives, the gatekeepers, I ask, so which Brahma are you? Brahma says, I'm from the Earth planet. Oh, we are from this universe where we have the Earth planet. And the gatekeeper says, no, there's so many Brahmas. Which one are you? And then Lord Brahma had to, then Lord Vishnu had to explain that this is the universe where Vamanadev appeared. And then they make the introduction, they meet Krishna. And beautiful descriptions about Govardhan, Vrindavan forest, how Govardhan manifests in this world, etc. There's so much more I want to say about even Kamsa and his appearance and how he became Kamsa, how he's linked to Vishnu in a previous incarnation, and all of that. But it'll take a lot of time. We have only 1 hour. But Krishna Katha can be spoken of. And there will be lots of other speakers from tomorrow, so I'm not sure what they'll cover. But if at some stage you are interested, and then you can contact me and we'll make our own Zoom class and we can speak more about Krishna. So let us,
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
let us all worship the Supreme Lord and understand his divine Leela and firmly plant that Leela in our hearts, by which we can understand when we leave our body, we will not take birth again in this material nature. Thank you, Champaklata. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. If I could please request you to just stop your screen share in the meantime,
Sure.
so we could actually interact and the viewers could also see you.
Okay, sorry, my camera is not the best. It's got a haze. Maybe it's a smoke screen.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for that very enlivening class. And of course, like you've mentioned, the glories of Lord Krishna and all these pastimes are so mesmerizing in the sense that we could listen for hours and hours and never get tired about it. But we have a program that we have to go ahead in terms of the question section. There have been some questions that have come in, and I know these persons that have presented these questions are eagerly awaiting your answers. We wouldn't want to lose them on our call. And therefore, I'd like to take this opportunity to put forward to you a few questions. If we could have just the brief responses to them, and to request all of you to please don't go away right now, because we still have that exciting competition that's coming up. And you could stand yourself a chance to win a copy of the Bhagavad Gita. And of course, your attendance right until the end of the Zoom session will make you eligible as well in terms of entering into the final competition, which is the draw for full attendance at all of the Gita Week programs. So, Smita Krishna Prabhu,
Are
first
those
question.
questions here on the chat?
I'm presenting the questions to you right now.
Okay.
The first question is the road to heaven, not also heaven itself.
Is that a question?
Yes, the question is, we speak of the road, I'm assuming this is what is meant by it, is the road to heaven, not also heaven, the road to heaven itself.
Okay, so this is one of the esoteric type of questions. Well, firstly, if we're using it metaphorically, we can try to understand the road to heaven as being the practice sadhana bhakti, and the goal is achieving the goal of sadhana bhakti. So sadhana bhakti means devotional service in practice, and devotional service in practice is meant to lead us to achieve what we're practicing in a pure way. So the road, in this case, is the sadhana bhakti, and achieving that is the same. So the means and the end of devotional service are the same. It's just that we are practicing and then we become pure. The other way of understand, if I be a little analytical about it, the idea of heaven is still part of the material nature. So if we're analyzing it that way, then the concept of heaven is still part of the material nature. When we say Gayatri, Om Bhur Bhuva Swa, Svargalok is heavenly planets, the residence of Lord Brahma, and those who are in the Karma Kanda section, the fruitive section of the practicing of Vedas properly, as Krishna explains, chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita, they can achieve the heavenly planets because they get these material rewards. And when that's exhausted, the rewards for their pious activities exhausted, they come back down into this planet. So if we are thinking like that, then that road to heaven is not what the devotees want. The devotees don't want the road to heaven. They want the path to pure devotional service, and they want to go beyond heaven to Goloka Vrindavan. They're not even satisfied to go to the Narayan planets. They want to be with Krishna, the cowherd boy.
Thank you so much, Prabhu, for that answer. The next question is self-realization more vital than to seek heaven? And I think you explained that already in the latter part of your answer to the former question.
Yeah, I can just comment on the self-realization part. You know, what is self-realization? It's a term that's being bandied about everywhere. We see it, internet gurus talking self-realization, self-realization. You know, Prabhupada presented that to us as a simple question. Who am I? Atato Brahma Jignasa starts from there. Who am I? If we even one of the great devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sanatan Goswami, when he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, first question he asked, Amara Kena Jara Taptatroy. People call me a great scholar. People say I know so many languages, and he did Sanskrit, Persian, so many things. But the basic question, who am I do not know. So please tell me, my Supreme Lord. And that is this idea of self-realization. People don't know who they are. We have to understand that I'm a spirit soul, the jiva, who's entrapped in this body, and we have an eternal relationship with the Supreme Soul, Sri Krishna. And that is reverts to the first question. We achieve that by sadhana bhakti, the practice of devotion.
Okay, and our final question that we've received is, please comment on the different colors you speak of, red, yellow, green, etc.
Yes, when Krishna appeared in the different yugas, then in the Sat Yuga, Treta Yuga, right, he appeared in these different colors. So even in the Sat Yuga, it's explained in Krishna book, even Bhagavatam, that Krishna appeared when in the Satya Yuga, everybody was practicing devotional life, and therefore the Supreme Lord himself would walk amongst those of the residents, the inhabitants of this planet. So Krishna appears in these different colors. And in this yuga now, in Dwapara Yuga, he appears in his dark complexion, right? But it's also explained that Krishna appears, Krishnam, he appears dark skinned, but then he also appears as Krishna, light skinned, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the different colors, Krishna appears in these colors. And sometimes people are stuck on this whole idea of Krishna being blue. We hear that question, why is Krishna blue? And so on. You know, Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He is supremely independent. He can choose whatever color he wants to come in, even neon pink, if he wishes. So there's, no special symbolism, but he appears in these different colors in these different ages, in the different yogas. You can speak at length at some other time if you want.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. I'm sure everyone's really relished that wonderful class presented by yourself, and particularly the brief yet profound responses you've given to the questions. So we'd like to take this opportunity to thank you, and we hope to hear from you again in the future. Like you've mentioned, there's so much more that could be said. Unfortunately, we've been very limited in terms of time, and this is going to be a recurring program on every night, culminating with Sri Krishna Janmashtami next Wednesday evening. So on this note, we've heard questions being posed to Smita Krishna Prabhu. I'd now like to take the opportunity to pose a question to our viewers. And like I've mentioned to you earlier, what we're going to do, the way the competition is going to work is that you're going to listen to the question, and this competition will be run only on the Zoom platform in terms of those who are participating and viewing on Zoom, because they have access to pop the answer into the chat box. So the question is, the winner would be the first person to state the correct answer in the chat box, and that is being managed by our tech team. So if you listen very carefully, and I hope you've been listening intently to the class, because the question is based on the class itself. And so the question is, which sage established Bhagavan as the possessor of all opulence? So which sage established Lord Krishna as Bhagavan being the possessor of all opulence? I'm not sure if we've got, the tech team, the organizers, and the presenter, myself included as the program director, are not eligible to answer, but the rest of you, I hope you have popped and the answer into the chat box, and that we could come back to you shortly in terms of a winner for that Bhagavad Gita.
Lata, is it possible that the first one can unmute themselves and give the answer? They just do it.
I think we've considered this in terms of when we organize it, and therefore it will be the person, our tech team's monitoring that right now.
Okay, all right.
All right. Okay, I'd also like to, and I'd like to keep you in suspense for the answer, actually. So, because we want you to literally wait on with us as we have the answer, the audit taking place in terms of that in the meantime. And I'd just like to share with our viewers the program in terms of what they can expect to see and witness for the rest of the evening. I'm just trying to screen share here. Perhaps if I could just ask Priya Kishori to put the advert on in terms of the Gita Week advert, which she had looped earlier. Okay, if the screen could just be, thank you so much. So as you've all seen our advert and therefore have joined us this evening, we'd like for you to share your good fortune in participating in Gita Week with the others. So we'd like for you to share the program, particularly this advert that has been posted on the WhatsApp group, ISKCON Durban WhatsApp group, on our social media. Share with as many people as you can. Tomorrow evening, we have Bhuta Bhavan Prabhu, who is from the UK. We have other very senior devotees as well, all very qualified devotees in making presentations during the following days. We have Nishingananda Prabhu, who is a Prabhupada disciple, Brahma Tirtha Prabhu, who's here with us on Friday, I think it is. And if any one of you have read Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers, that is the conversation that Srila Prabhupada had with Brahma Tirtha Prabhu, who is also known as Bob Cohen there. So if you haven't as yet, please grab yourself a copy of Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers, and you'll have an opportunity to hear from him directly. And there's so many other wonderful devotees you can see on your screen, but I'm not going to take up much more time in terms of describing all of them. But we look forward to your participation, your continued participation, and to hearing from these devotees whom we know won't normally get an opportunity to see here in South Africa personally, but let us seize this opportunity to hear from them during this auspicious week of Gita Jayanti. I would now like to invite Krishangi Radhe Dasi, who is one of the organizers in terms of the Sri Sri Radhanath Nath Temple Festival Organizing Committee, the communications officer for ISKCON Durban, who's also the minister in terms of the Vaishnavi Women's Ministry in South Africa, and who's very actively involved in terms of coordinating the program for Shri Krishna Janmashtami, and for her to reveal the winner of the prize, as well as to tell you what to expect during Janmashtami and Shri Vyasa Puja. So I'm just going to request Krishangi to present very briefly and to give away that prize.
Hare Krishna, and thank you so much, Champaklata, and thank you, Smita Krishna Prabhu. I was meant to introduce you this evening, and I was so sad when my electricity went out, but I'm back on now. And I just love the fact that you mentioned at the beginning of the class that we have such an awesome lineup. And you likened it to you being the curtain raiser this evening, but I don't think so. I actually don't think so. We've had so many great comments, and I think people have been really appreciative of your presentation this evening. So thank you so much. And you've so nicely set the tone for what's to come for the rest of the week. And more so, as Champakalata said, that it's so interesting that we've had some devotees put up here on the group as well as on Facebook that they are from different parts of South Africa, and now they are able to actually connect in a space like this. So we're really embracing this challenge that we've turned to be a really positive space right now, where we could get together and also just come into the Sangha together from different parts of the world, different parts of the country. And I would like to encourage everyone to please use this opportunity. The festival team headed by Balaram Prabhu has put in a lot of work behind creating this platform so that every one of us can enjoy Sri Krishna Janmashtami in a very different yet significant way again this year. So I have a winner. I think it's just come onto my chat, but I'll hold on to that right now. Champak has mentioned the list of speakers for the rest of the week, and they really senior devotees. I'd also like to invite parents who are on this forum this evening to please take advantage of our dress up challenge for children. That details also will be shared if you're on our ISKCON Durban Facebook page. Please take advantage of that to send your children dressed up and making an offering to Krishna on his birthday to that WhatsApp number. And that will be screened on Janmashtami evening. Also on Sunday, we take the Janmashtami lineup onto our online space. So from 2 o'clock, you'd be able to indulge in kirtanuity, in bhajans by Shashika Murit, Sachi Devi Dasi. Also, the Women's Forum will present a wonderful cooking demo as to what you can cook and how you can prepare in your home for Krishna Janmashtami. We also have our class by Jagannath Eshwari Mataji on Sunday evening, being Women's Day also. So it's a wonderful program from 2 p.m. right up until 7:30 after Gora Aarti. And again on Janmashtami from 4:30 a.m. you'd be able to stream on our Facebook page, but our program starts right here on Zoom in the evening at 5:30 p.m. So there's so much, and I'm appealing to you. One thing that we can all do to support each other during this time is share the information, tell your family and friends to log on, and also engage. Send us comments, what you would like to hear, what sort of topics you would like to be discussed during this week. And let us know what you need, because ultimately we are an organization of service, and this is the time that we want to come together most especially. So I think today was really wonderful, and we have a winner, which I am very excited to also share with you. And I'm hoping that person is still on the call. And the winner is Vish Budalal. Am I saying it correctly? Vish, are you on? Can you unmute? If you don't want to show us who you are, if you want to still keep your video off, that's okay. But at least if you unmute, Vish, are you still with us? Budalu, forgive me. Vish Budalu,
Yes.
if you on.
Hare Krishna.
Congratulations, Hare Krishna, congratulations. So
Thank you
what
very
we
much.
would like for you to do is to please send us your details, email address and cell phone number, but just send it to the host of the meeting so that we be able to have your contact details to contact you about how you can receive your prize.
Right. Thank you very much. I will do.
Thank
Hari
you.
Bol.
Okay, Hare Krishna. So
Okay.
I'm going to hand back to Champaklata to conclude this evening.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Krishangi, for that information in terms of what the devotees and the participants can look forward to and expect in the coming nights, as well as the Janmashtami evening program on Wednesday. Just to remind us again that every evening is Gita Week program in terms of the various speakers speaking at 7:30 p.m., except for Janmashtami on the 12th. The speaker during the Gita Week program will be at 5:30 p.m. that evening in terms of this particular schedule, but the program runs, as she mentioned, throughout the day. But the Gita Week presentation on Janmashtami is on this particular Zoom link at 5:30 p.m. So thank you so much for spending your evening with us. We'd like to thank our presenter, Smita Krishna Prabhu, once again, our tech team, the various devotees who have assisted in the background, Indulekha, Surabhi Kunj, Priya Kishori, Amritavani, and Krishangi Radhi, of course. So, and a special big thank you to you for attending this program. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow evening and for all the evenings coming going forward. Don't forget, we are monitoring our attendance, and there will be a special giveaway competition draw on Janmashtami evening on that 5:30 p.m. final session of Gita Week. Hare Krishna, and see you back here tomorrow evening. Thank you very much.
To make this final point about that, the understanding of the transcendental nature of the Lord will appear when one chants the holy name seriously, because the holy name is Nam, Rup, Guna, and Leela. So everybody can chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you, Champaklata, and all the organizers. Hare Krishna.